Hi there. This is my presentation for FlexLab 11, and we're going to talk about Maker Day, the Maker Day movement, and ozobot technology. My name's Chris. So before we get going and talk about ozobot technology, specifically we're going to talk about what is the Maker Day movement in general. In one of the sources that was provided for us in class, Martinez and Stagger have a paper called The Maker Movement, and they talk about how the whole idea is a learning revolution. And they indicate that technology and how they can be incorporated in class is the key to learning these days. So a key part of the theory is that the key progress is accessibility. So with that being said, kids these days have tons of applications and different kinds of mobile devices that allow them to bend and interact with lectures in a completely different way that was meant or provided to students just a couple of decades ago. And nowadays, the classroom can look completely different. With that said, it's super easy to access these new tools for free online or through friends and teachers just on mobile devices. And we can also talk about different learning theories such as Jean Piaget's constructivism and her students Papet's constructionism. So these two theories really explain the remarkable accomplishments of young makers and remind educators that every classroom needs to be different for your specific students and with the resources that you have. The two theories also indicate that knowledge is also a consequence of experience. Constructionism and, or just constructionism actually, constructionism just talks about how learning is had when shareable objects are made. So that's where we talk about working at your own pace and creating meaning out of slow progress. So Maker Day movements indicate that students should make their own projects and tinker with things and build ideas out of objects and kind of explore the things in their own places called maker spaces. So that's where learning is really had instead of just the standard face-to-face lecture with a teacher. So instead of students actually just sitting down and listening to someone talk for 20 minutes, they're actually having their hands on something and they're kind of exploring ideas at their own level and pace. When they're working at their own pace, they're also creating meaning out of slower progress, if that makes any sense. Moving on. So during the actual Maker Day conference at school, I interacted with a booth that talked about ozobots. So ozobots are really interesting to me because they're just these really small robots. I have a picture on the next slide that read color. So if you look on the right, there's a color codes chart that they have on their own site actually. So the company, based off the States, I believe, in California, they have these printable charts that indicate what colors ozobots programmed to read. And these colors can appear in any order, is what they were telling me at the booth. So regardless if it's black, red, green, blue, or black, red, black, red, ozobot will read these specific layouts and act accordingly to what that's programmed to. It's a bit confusing, but the thing is there's a play mode, or these things were specifically designed to play with. So on the site they have printable designs, they have printable mazes that children can print off and race their robots or even compare the different designs in programs. So I believe this code chart has a speed boost on it, which will probably come in handy for racing. Also, ozo.edu at ozobot.com, that's a website that educators and teachers can actually access the website and kind of speak to the people in case they're actually wondering if they wanted to order an ozobot. Moving on to ozobots in education. So on the right hand picture, this is the actual picture of the ozobot, but on the left hand side is something I'm interested in. Currently I'm in a computing science class, and on the left there is basic logic teachings for students. So the Maker Day movement really emphasizes the need for tinkerers in today's society. as we moved on in technology, we've kind of stepped away from traditional craftsmanship and things that were experienced from, or things that were really respected for arts and crafts and just hands-on work. However, the theory and the movement emphasizes that those tinkerers are gone, or even just kind of extinct, shall we say. But the thing is, they really haven't. I personally believe that tinkerers are still alive and well in today's society. However, they've changed. As technology has moved on, so has the tinkerers. So we have things like programming, and people just have to realize that programmers are a very key component of our daily lifestyles. So whether it's video games or just basic programming such as Microsoft PowerPoint, which I'm using right now, or even recording a screencast and recording my voice at the same time. Someone has to program these and make sure they run accordingly for every single program that you use on your computer. In fact, someone's probably programmed your computer to run those programs, which is beyond basic programming. Let me know if I've lost you, because I think I might have just lost my own train of thought. Anyway, so back to basic logic education in classes. It's key that we start students at a early level with basic programming, because in case we want to develop new technologies, we have to teach them the older ones, and yeah, I think so. Currently I'm learning Python, which will help me make video games, or even just basic things like Celsius and Fahrenheit converter. Just very small, handy things like that. So even if we start young, who knows what they could be developing at my age, or once they get to my age, I should say. Great. Okay, so on the left here I have a digestive tract, and on the right I have the cells of the immune system. So these two images kind of demonstrate what I could use ozobots for in an education classroom. So on the left, teaching bio, I could have the ozobots follow the specific digestive tract and indicate what the flow of food is. So obviously starting at the oral cavity, moving down to the lower parts of the digestive system. The ozobot would just follow that color code, and they'd probably just show the students the pathway. On the right, cells of the immune system, also wonderfully colored. If, let's say, we have a pathogen in the immune system, with this said, if a ozobot follows the immune system regular path, just like they did in the digestive tract, it could come across a pathogen and it could stop, right? And that means it would meet a pathogen and say, okay, students, we should probably kind of assess what's going on here. And you can do the same for other kinds of cells or even bacteria. And last but not least, makers are important. So recapping what I just said, the Maker Day movement really emphasizes the need for tinkerers and hands-on learning in the classroom, and how Jean Piaget's constructivism and Seymour Papet's constructionism talk about how the key to learning is making meaningful projects. So if our students are engaged in making a hands-on thing by themselves, or for, say, programming for ozobots or whatever it is, they're going to enjoy their learning more, and they're going to see motivation in it. And yeah, that should be it. Thanks for listening. Once again, this is Maker Day Conference screencast about ozobot technology. My name's Chris. Thanks.